I am Kilsley Kaji Sting. I am Myles Richardson. I'm from the Eagle clan of Joth on the west coast of Haida Gwaii. And it got really serious about that time as we got into the 1970s and through the 70s when visitors would come and just like these pieces of poles from Kiusta and Kaisun, as visitors would come and cut off pieces of poles and take them to galleries and try and sell them or keep them just for their own use, but they were defacing our culture. And also, people would dig up graves. You know, chiefs and high status women were buried with all their finest, with their jewelry, and people would seek those out and dig up graves and deface our village sites. So biggest virtues of being a Haida is to be a good host. That comes to today. And our people said, okay, we got to get this under control, but we're going to do it by welcoming people. So time went on, you know, the 70s turned into the 80s, and the Haida Nation started protecting, taking that ethic of responsibility for our cultural inheritance. Responsibility turned into responsible stewardship of our islands. And we started having to get the industry under control. But Duguste on the west coast of Haida Gwaii is an intact area. And we passed a law in our 1981 House of Assembly in the hall in New Masset. It was a unilateral declaration. We weren't negotiating. We weren't asking anybody else's permission. Haida Gwaii is Haida land. The Haida Nation is the government of the Haida Nation. And we declared that this Duguste Tribal Park will remain in its natural state in perpetuity. End of story. So we decided, you know, Haidas are good hosts. We're respectful people. And our business, our legal business, is conducted in the feast house. Of course, we didn't have a feast house out in Duguste. So we prepared a very good feast in Skidegate and Masset, and we took it out through Naden Harbor in the logging roads in seine boats, and we set up community hall tables down the center of the road, the logging road, outside the logging camp on a Saturday afternoon. And we invited all the loggers, their families, their bosses, the whole camp. We invited them to a Haida feast. And to their credit, they all came. All the workers came. We didn't know where they're going to want to fight, or, you know, we didn't know how they'd handle this. But our intentions were good. We let them know that. And we had this feast, and we fed them beautiful Haida food. We sang for them the songs of the area, told them the stories, and told them why we had to protect, why the continuation, the well-being of our nation, of our people who've been here for thousands of years, required some areas of our islands to remain natural. And this was one of them. Now, we didn't hold this against them personally, but they were not going to log in this area, and we asked them to leave. And to their credit, they honored our request. To this day, they've never cut one tree in Duguste Tribal Park. And those logging companies and those logging families chose to honor the Haida authority and didn't log in that area. Since then, the Council of the Haida Nation has signed joint management agreements with the government of British Columbia to ensure that nothing happens in that area without the consent of the Haida Nation, and both parties agree that Duguste will remain in its natural state. There's many functions that the Haida Gwaii Watchman could serve in our own village, in our old village sites, and all around Haida Gwaii. And that was always my vision, is that it would enable our people to move back to our ancestral homes and be functioning and have a very useful purpose. And I think we still need to keep building toward that, although in the political fray between ourselves and Canada, that seems to have been lost. They just seem to be treading water, keeping the watchmen doing the same old things year after year after year. I think we need to evolve. I think Haidas need to re-seize control of it and move it forward in our vision in terms of how we see our future in our homelands. All our people want to be is who we are. That's what our people want to be. If Canada is not going to respect our nationhood, respect our responsibilities as people, then obviously we've got to retain those jurisdictions, those lawmaking authorities on our own. That's fine. Then let's go forward and do that. A Guardians Network, our responsible stewardship of the places we call home is a value that Indigenous people share with Canadians. It must be. If Canadians are just coming here to rape and pillage and fill their pockets with money and then go back to where they came from, go back now. Get out of our way. If Canadians are here and they want to live with Indigenous people, our people, the Haida Nation, I'm the living generation of a nation that scientists have confirmed have been here for at least 15,000 years. Does anybody think that that's an accident? It's not an accident. It's because our people have figured something out of how to sustain life, how to sustain cultures, how to sustain people, handing on from one generation to the next, living in the same places over untold generations. We've figured out something about how to survive and thrive in these places that our Creator has placed us on this earth. That's another reason why I think there's hope for reconciliation in this country. We've done it in Haida Gwaii. We've shown it can work. And we can do it right across this country, and far from being a major cost. It's going to enhance this country. It's going to enhance this country in the hearts and souls of people who call this home, and it's going to be a beacon to the rest of the world of how differing people can get along by focusing on what we share in common. And that's what these Haida Gwaii Watchmen, and that's what these Guardians initiatives could help to bring about. If we're serious about reconciliation, and all reconciliation means to me is that we accept each of us for who we are. We accept Haidas for who we are. We accept Kwagios for who they are. We accept Inuit for who they are, Innu for who they are, Crees for who they are, and Canadians for who they are. And we figure out how to live here together with respect. We accept that we're all here to stay, and we figure out how to share and coexist. This Indigenous Guardians Network will be a key, constructive building piece for that new relationship.